The pitch is hit in the air to deep center. Sizemore going back, away back, on the track, at the wall. It's gone! Oh, Georgie Juice one. Gardner. There goes the deep right. It is high. It is far. It is gone. It's a Gardy party. He plants one in the right field seats. Gardy goes yardy from Bryce. Swung on and hit in the air to deep left. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. He's homered. Derek Jeter homers.
What is going on, baseball fans? We are back at it once again here on the Baseball Banter Broadcast. As always, you know, I am Jeremy Laracuenta along with my esteemed co-host, Dave. What's going on, Dave?
What's going on, man? About time we're back at this. Has been way too long.
Absolutely, absolutely. And tonight we have a very, very special show for you. We are bringing you our off-season plans for the New York Yankees to return to prominence, to return to World Series champions. And to join us on this broadcast, we have one of the newest members and contributors here on the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And we bring on our co-host for this episode, Mark.
Hey, guys, what's going on? Thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely. Welcome to the team. And we're going to get started. Essentially, what we're doing here tonight is we're listing out our game plan for the New York Yankees in this offseason. Obviously, the Yankees have not done what we have wanted them to do, which is win the World Series since 2009. So we're going to help them out. We're going to help Brian Cashman out and put together plans that are going to help this organization get back to winning the World Series. Now, just a couple of ground rules in terms of the requirements that we had placed on this list. So there's 5 rules for this, right? So we had to a realistic financial plan. The Yankees payroll in 2025 was about $305 million. The commitments that were already scheduled to be had for this 26 roster was about $237 million. So essentially gave us a little bit, about $68 million to play with. Rule number 2 is that we had to pull out the entire 26-man roster. So obviously all 9 starting positions in the lineup, 5 starters, and your relievers and bench had to equal a 26 players. Any trades that were going to be made had to be realistic in both the financial commitment and as well as the trade package. And personnel changes, rule number 4, were allowed, but again, had to be realistic. And the last thing, and part of what makes it a bit more difficult, was that we had to deal with the real-life injuries to the opening day starting roster. So, obviously, no Garrett Cole, no Carlos Rodon, and Anthony Volpe on our opening day roster alignments. So, those are the rules that we had to stick to be able to put this team together. So, Dave, why don't you get us started?
Well, so going through this was extremely difficult because there's what I want, and then there's what I have a gut feeling as to what's actually going to happen. Remember at the trade deadline, they brought in Jake Bird, Jose Caballero, Ryan McMahon, Camilo Doval, and David Bednar. Those are 5 guys with team control for the next 2 seasons plus. So with that in mind, not really a whole hell of a lot of room to play with here. So what I'll do is I'll just go through my 26 guys and then I'll go from there. So this is somewhat in alphabetical order, so don't crucify me for not sticking to a plan here. But I got David Bednar, Fernando Cruz, Shota Imanaga, Yuri De Los Santos, Camilo Doval, Max Fried, Pete Fairbanks, Luis Heel, Tim Hill, Mike King, Mark Leiter Jr., Cam Schlittler, Will Warren, Austin Wells, Ben Rice, Jose Caballero, Jazz Chisholm, Alex Bregman, Cody Bellinger, Ahmed Rosario, Yorby Vivas, Oswaldo Cabrera, J-Dom, Judge, Stanton, and Grisham, rounding it out. So obviously with the injuries to Rodon, Schmidt, and Garrett Cole, beginning of the season, you're down 3 starters. So that's where I think they reunite with Mike King. I got him coming in on a 2-year, $45 million deal, which puts it at 22.5 per. Granted, if you can trade McMahon somehow and wipe that 16 mil off the board, or at least half of it, to drop it about $8 million. With Bregman, I don't see the Yankees not at least having a conversation with him. Do I think they'll sign him? I have him at $20 million a year for 6 years, which is $120 million total. Do I think he's going to sign anywhere for $20 million a year? No. But for this, hypothetically speaking, in order for it to fit the budget, that's where he would need to be. He's an all-star third baseman. He's in his early 30s. I would really like to see them get him, because I am so sick and tired of watching this guy completely kick us in the teeth every chance we play against him, whether when he was in Houston or this past season with the Red Sox. I am sick and tired of playing against this dude. Whether or not the Yankees go anywhere in 2026 relies on Cody Bellinger. I got him listed at 8 years at $216 million. That's $27 million a year, which is right around what he's been rumored to be in the ballpark of getting. It takes him to his age 38 season. So he finishes his career here, which would be nice. I got Ahmed Rosario at 1 year at $5 million because of the way the Yankees have been so hot and heavy with wanting him, finally getting him this year. And he didn't exactly do half bad. I mean, offensively wasn't really great with the bat, but played stellar defense and, come in and pinch run in a game and hits left-handed pitching. So, which is one of our weaknesses this year. And then Pete Fairbanks. This bullpen needs to get blown up and reconstructed. I would say get rid of everybody. It just kills me that Mark Leiter Jr. is still under contract this year. I did not like that trade for Jack Neely when it happened. It was ridiculous, in my opinion. So I got Fairbanks in at 4 years at $54.8 million, which gives him his projected market value at $13.7 million a year. Obviously, Edwin Diaz is going to drive that market through the ceiling. So the relief pitching market is probably not going to heat up until Edwin Diaz signs somewhere for a stupid amount of money. And then Shota Imanaga is really interesting to me because he is a left-handed pitcher and did really well in Chicago. I got him projected at $16 million a year, so 4 years for him at $64 million, I believe would get it done. And at that point, Luis Hill becomes expendable to whomever for some prospects to replenish that market. But all that in total, without including Mike King in the whole deal with the 6 guys that I have, it puts it right at $58 million to spend this offseason. So that's where my thoughts are at. Do I think this is going to happen? No. I think Trent Grisham takes that qualifying offer at $22 million, which is going to completely tank this whole plan right from the get-go, because then you just have barely enough left in the budget to sign Bellinger. And then, as Brian Cashman likes to do, go dumpster diving at Dollar General for spare parts with guys that are reclamation projects. So that's what I got. And, I got Ben Rice slotted as the backup catcher. I would really like to see Bellinger play first base to give J-Dom free reign and left field for the entire season. So that's where I'm at with my offseason plans.
Gotcha. So very interesting plan for sure. What did you have for the contract?
For who?
For Cody.
8 years, 216. Hey man, I don't want to see us make another mistake like we did with Juan Soto. Not that I'm saying we made a mistake with Juan Soto. They offered him a ton of money. But I don't want to have just 1 year of Cody and then just be back to holding our what's in our hand while he goes and rakes for, God forbid, the Toronto Blue Jays. and then we really have a problem.
No, I get you. I'm not doing that by re-signing Cody. I want Cody re-signed as well. I think the years are just too much. That's my opinion. That's all.
It's going to keep the AAV down, though. So it's either you're going to give him more money on a shorter term deal, or you're going to give him more years and less money. I mean, you can't have it both ways, unfortunately.
Here, so Mark, why don't you go next up with your roster?
All right. So, Dave, as Dave went down alphabetically, I did it position by position. So I'm starting off as such. I'm putting Ben Rice behind the plate. I think that he's a better catcher. He's a better catcher than he is a first baseman, and I think we've seen enough where he might become a average first baseman, but right now we can get other people to play first base, such with Akamoto, who's coming over from Japan. I've always been kind of on the line of having a big Murakami fan, but he's got a lot of strikeout problems. He's doesn't hit the fastball well, which is an interesting thing. A lot of stats have been out there that Murakami does not hit well with 93 and above, and Akamoto does. He's right-handed. He's a right-handed bat. Can play the corner infield. Can play third. Can play first. He's more contact-driven. I think 3 years at $40 million could get the job done to get Akamoto. Second base is Jazz Chisholm. He's not going. He's got 1 year left, so he'll be there. My shortstop is going to be. It kind of breaks what I like to do, because I think that this trade will not. I think this deal will not happen, and but it should. Just like I think our third base something is not going to happen, and it should as well. There, kind of flip flopping. I want to get Bo Bichette for 10 years, $200 million, and everyone's talking about his defense, how bad his defense was, but you know what? If he hits the ball well, he's a contact hitter. He can get it in the not even the middle, but the top end of the lineup. I'm thinking where you can get people on base for Aaron Judge to drive it, and Bo Bichette can do that while still giving you some pop. And guess what? He has an opt out after year 5 in my deal. Guess what? After next year, he moves over to second base. You have George Lombard Jr. coming up, and put George Lombard Jr. at shortstop, and you're going to continue on from there. I wish that we don't have Ryan McMahon. We don't have McMahon at third base, but McMahon's going to stay at third. There's no way ever that Brian Cashman gets a guy and then tries to jettison him. He's always wanted somebody and then jettisons him off the next year. So McMahon's there. Right field, obviously, Judge. I also am re-signing Cody Bellinger. I have him at a 5-year, $125 million deal. And my left fielder is a trade. I'm going for Quan for left field. Another leadoff type bat. He can get on base and he can do it, and he's a great defender. The price for him is going to be Jason Dominguez, who I've always said should be playing center field, and it kills me the fact that I'd have to trade him. But Dominguez and either ERC or Legrand are going to go with that deal. So they can pick whichever one of the two there. And what's left on Quan's deal right now is $4.17 million for this year. Our DH, obviously, Stanton. Starting pitchers are Max Fried, Schlittler, Warren, Heald. That's your top 4. They're gonna go dumpster diving. They're gonna bring back Ryan Yarborough on a 1-year minimum deal. Is what, $750K or something like that. The relief pitching. They already have Tim Hill back at $3 million. They already have Efros and Leiter Jr. on the payroll. They got Doval, they got Bednar there. Cruz is still there, and Hamilton's still there as well. So you've got plenty. You've already got guys built into the bullpen. I think we can get Sir Anthony Dominguez as another guy in the bullpen. I got him at 1 year, $3 million. I think that might work out for them. And then bench pieces. Austin Wells is not the everyday guy. He's going to be a bench piece. You got Jose Caballero there. I mean, obviously, in the real world right now, he's going to be the starting shortstop. But I think with getting Bo Bichette, you can move him to the super utility guy. You have Adnan Rosario, And my final piece is getting an outfielder, Michael Taylor, for 1 year. I'm sorry, Rosario is a 2-year, $5 million deal. So that's the AAV thing right there that you were doing with Bellinger. I just did it on a smaller scale with Rosario. And then Michael Taylor for the fourth outfielder for a 1 year, $1.5 million deal, and gives me my total value for the budget would be like $307,022,220,000, something along those lines. But 307 is kind of give or take around the number I'm at. So it fits in the budget. Before they were at 305, went a little bit over, but I think you can make some deals to kind of knock that down. I still think that Spencer Jones doesn't start the year with the Yankees. I think he's in the bulk. I think he's in AAA for a little bit longer. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, and I don't, like you said before, Dave, I don't see. I have one big deal here, but I don't see like multiple big deals on multiple trades, because I think Hal is worried about what's going to happen next offseason. So it's kind of, they're playing into whatever happens next offseason. I don't think Grisham takes the qualifying offer, because he wants to secure his bag for a few years. So that's where I stand with my guys.
So I think the Bo Bichette move is really interesting because of all the commentary, especially online, about his defense, and with all the back and forth about Volpe and his defense and all of that and the lack thereof, what it looked like this year, and Bo typically grades out worse than that. I think that's an interesting move for sure.
Not only that, but the injury history. I mean, last year and a half, he's been a sheet of glass.
Well, I mean, we
between the shoulder, the kney, like.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't want him anywhere near this team, to be honest with you.
What I'm saying is, you put him at shortstop for 1 year. That's it, just 1 year, and then you move him onto an easier position at second base. I don't think he's a fit for this team. Offensively, he's a massive fit for this team. Offensively, he's the kind of batter that we need. Contact hitter. He's going to fight. He's going to get up there and grind at bats. That's exactly what we need. That's exactly what this team needs. You don't need another guy always trying to hit for the home runs. That we have too many people that do that on this team. Get some guy that can get on base. He's back to being, his knees are fine, his back's fine, his hamstring's fine, everything's fine with him. He could get you 20 bags, and he's batting. He could bat 1 or 2 with him and Steve in my lineups. Him and Steven Kwan could go 1-2, and then you got some terror on the bases. Like I'm trying to get this a little. My thought was getting us a little bit more athletic. Bo Bichette, Bichette's now 27 years old. He's going to be, like, theoretically speaking, in the prime of his career. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking with him. And we just mentioned Volpe before. If Volpe could actually, hit for once in his life, and he played the crappy defense like he did this year, people will still be looking to resign Volpe.
It's a long-term deal. It's a little hard to expect the guy to hit like a beast and play solid defense when you got a torn shoulder.
It was his off shoulder. It's not his throwing shoulder.
I don't care. It doesn't matter if it's his throwing shoulder or not. Any torn anything in the body is gonna inhibit your ability to play at 100%, no matter what.
Okay, let's dope this out for a second. But whose fault it is that they kept running him out there? They had options.
Their medical staff and the manager for not having a brain in this skull.
And the player kept saying, "No, I'm fine. Everyone is guilty as charged for what happened to Volpe this year."
Yeah, there's no.
But then it's on the adults in the room to sit the kid down and be like, "You're jacked up. You're hurting this team. You're going on." They should have sat him down in May and said, "You're going on the IL. You're having surgery tomorrow, and that's the end of this discussion."
But that lies the problem, because then it messes up with the business side of the team, which is all about putting Volpe out. Listen, I understand, but they could have sent Vanty Volpe down his rookie season when he couldn't hit water, when he fell out of a boat. He was batting 202 or 207. He ended up with horrible. Even though he got 2020, I don't care about 2020. He couldn't hit the ball at all. All right. Yeah. There was many times he should have been sent down to the minor leagues, and guess what? The Yankees will never do that for this kid. Unfortunately, They will never do that. So,
and yet the prospect that came in better and Dominguez doesn't get the rub at all.
That's what I've always said. Jason Dominguez is, as a prospect, is better than Volpe, better than Wells, and he's the one that was on the bench, and they never gave him the shine. And he was the one who had to move positions to the hardest spot in a harder left field than any other place.
What killed me with Jadon was they give him one at bat in the postseason and smokes an RBI double in the gap. I'm like,
yep,
because they turned around. They said they didn't want it. They didn't want Volpe to get the boos again. They would rather send Jason out there and let him get boos as opposed to Volpe, because the Yankees treat Dominguez like he's the redheaded stepchild. When he goes out there, prepares better than everybody else. He's out there early all the time. You know, they were having tons of, and one of the good things about bringing Rosario back, that Dominguez saddled up with Rosario. They go out together early, left field, working on plays. That's the work ethic that kid has. And even though in my deal I have him traded, and I have him traded not because I don't like the kid, but because the Yankees don't want him around anymore. Is what I'm feeling. They'll get somebody else to go instead, and Dominguez will be a superstar elsewhere.
Yes, he will.
So you chalk this up to another Yankee screw up. Chalk this up to another failed Yankee experiment, and yet another failed move that the Yankees do. They'll keep the guys that they truly think that they truly like and can profit off of, and then they'll take everyone else and just jettison them somewhere else.
This is the stuff that just truly makes me just hate this team more and more every year.
And you know what? I would say it's the team, but it's the management. It's management, and you know what? I've been kind of doing deep dives, and you know, and we're going to take Volpe for example, all right? And Dave knows this specifically, the rabbit holes and you know where we've gone to in these conversations, but from the ownership and the stewards and the bonds and everyone who holds bonds on that team, all the way down to management, they're not giving up on this kid, fortunate or unfortunate, and he is not worth the price of admission. He's not worth a bag of peanuts at this point. And they will. I actually will bet they'll trot him out there earlier than when he should be trotting out there.
I agree. So I'm gonna jump in now and kind of put my plan out and together. So like Mark, I kind of have it listed out with the roster itself, not alphabetically. So Austin Wells is the catcher, right? Ben Rice at first base, Jazz at second, Ryan McMahon at third. I got Caballero playing short because we know, like we've been talking about right now, Volpe back. He's going to be the shortstop, right? Then in left field, I have Kyle Tucker. So I think the Yankees go out and give Tucker a 12-year, $400 million deal, and that puts it at $33 million a year. Then
see you later, Cody.
Trent Grisham does not take the qualifying offer in my scenario here. I'm gonna save my starting center fielder for a moment. Right field is Judge, obviously, and Stanton is our DH. Now, one of the things that really has been bothering me with this team in terms of the way that they've handled the catching situation is we've been left-handed, right? So that was one of the things that was mentioned about the team by A-Rod in the post-game after we got eliminated in the postseason, 3 left-handed catchers. So I wanted to switch that up. And I'm bringing in Victor Caratini, who's a switcher, to be the backup catcher for $7 million on a 1-year deal. Then to fill out my bench, it's a completely completely different bench with trades as the facilitators of such deals. So I'm going to put up a couple of graphics real quick and show you the additions that I'm making to this roster. So we go out and get O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds, Jared Jones, and Braxton Ashcraft from the Pirates. And in exchange, we are trading away, and I'll put that up here as well, just so we can kind of see that with the substitutions and subtractions. Then the players going away, that deal are Jason Dominguez, Luis Heel, Brent Hedrick, and Clark Schmidt. So I use baseball trade values as the facilitator to even out these trades. And so taking on the contract of Brian Reynolds and the fact that he hasn't lived up to that contract kind of brings the values together and equaled out what was considered a fair trade according to that. So bench is we have our fourth outfielder would be Brian Reynolds, and O'Neal Cruz will be our starting center fielder. Now, when we get into the rotation, because I have a couple of other another trade that goes down. The starting rotation: Max Fried, Kim Schlittler, Will Warren. Then the two guys from Pittsburgh, and Jared Jones and Braxton Ashcraft. Our closer, David Bednar, that stays still. We still got Duvall, Tim Hill, Fernando Cruz, and Jake Berg. Then I go through and pick up out of free agency Emilio Pagan and Caleb Thielbar. So pick up Pagan for $9 million and Thielbar for a $3 million deal. So Pagan's a 2-year deal for $9 million per, so 18 total, and a 1-year deal for Thielbar. Then I make another trade, and I make a trade with the Reds for Spencer Steer, Gavin Lux, and Tony Santelli, and trade away Mark Leiter Jr., J.C. Escara, and E. Hamilton, evening out the deals there, again, from baseballtradevalues.com. So bringing in...
I don't see the Reds taking that.
Yeah, me neither. But, hey, it evened out on the trade deal, so that's why I figured out we go there, right? So Gavin Lux is making $4.4 million. Spencer Steers at 3.2, and Tony is at 2.5. Then O'Neal Cruz is making 3.4. Brian Reynolds is at 14.25 million, and then the two pitchers are both making 800,000, the minimum. So, with my offseason additions, it is adding on $81.35 million to the team. But with the subtractions that I've done via trade, that drops it down by $13.4 million. So total of $67.95, bringing my total value for the financials of the deal to $304.95 million. That's where the financials come in on my roster.
Dave was saying that the Reds weren't going to make that deal. Man, Pittsburgh is not going to make that deal.
I think they would actually.
Not to give it. They listen.
The only reason why I think they will is because the Pittsburgh Pirates the last 2 seasons have been notorious for signing guys to, in their organization's perspective, as massive deals. Right? Look at what they did to Rowdy Tellez. Look at what they did to Andrew Heaney. Look at what they did to all these guys that were supposed to make all these bonuses, and they cut them loose just before those incentives were to kick in. So the fact that they're going to shed money and get guys with controllability back, I can definitely see Pittsburgh making a deal like that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of
twice on Sunday.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk on different Pirate circles that I've been looking at about them trying to, suggest that the Pirates contact the Yankees for Dominguez because he has clearly been the odd man out, whether right or wrong. So that's one of the reasons why his including the deal kind of puts it over the top. Plus, replacing out, Brian Reynolds' contract would be a massive win for them.
Mm-hmm.
And the Yankees can afford to take that deal on.
They're cutting guys loose and releasing them when they're about to get paid what, $500,000 for getting a certain amount of at bats, or 5 innings away from making $100,000 in the case of Andrew Heaney. Like, really, you're worried about having to shell out $100,000 to somebody? That's pathetic.
Well, that's Pittsburgh. I mean, they're
they're
bottom barrel. They're bottom barrel. That's what they are.
You're bottom of the food chain, and you're getting rid of a guy that's about to make $100,000 on an incentive deal, like when you're not even in playoff contention, that's just low. Like that's Bush League, bro.
That is, but my thing for Pittsburgh is that you know when Paul Skeens pitched, it's kind of like when back in the day with Miami when they had Jose Fernandez. It was Jose Day every time, and everyone would come out. Paul Skeens pitches, but they got Jared Jones, who was a damn good pitcher too, as a number 2.
Yeah.
They, you know, with the ability of, or with the projection of a quote unquote salary cap possibly on the horizon, they would keep those guys. They would keep that 1-2 there, and then after a salary cap, just try, you know, or at least for the start of the season, keep a Jared Jones and then try to use him as trade bait and get the max deal that's possible just for Jared Jones. They can get 4 guys just for him. They don't need to add in O'Neal Cruz as well, or you know, Brian Reynolds or things like that. Like they could take those pieces, and as we've seen this before, where you could take a piece and start shipping them everywhere. You don't have to package them all together, and that's where I think Pittsburgh and Ben Cherington will have the smarts to kind of say, all right, we're gonna start sending them out individually, not as a group.
Yeah, but if the Pirates were presented with a deal like Jerry just threw up there, I think they'd be really hard pressed not to say no.
Yeah, they would, because they would switch out. They would want more, is what's going to happen. They would want an ERC or a Lagrange coming in there. They would look for a Jones or a Lombard Jr. in that deal as well. Like they would make them overpay for that deal.
Tell you right now, if the Yankees trade Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, that would be the biggest mistake that they make. I
agree with you, but I'm saying to make things legitimate in our scenarios here, he has to be someone that's going to be on the table.
Oh, I get it. I'm just saying. I think they're going to be making a very big mistake.
Oh, 100%. Like he was the best pitcher in the minor leagues. He was their best minor league pitcher. And then number 2 was
the Red Sox traded him to us in that deal. I was like, they let this kid go
because they didn't know what they had, and they know what they needed. They needed themselves a catcher.
Oh, they needed a catcher. I get it, but
that's sometimes that's the price. That's the price you pay. Oh, we're gonna give up a catcher, and then whatever, man. We can have this guy. We don't know what he is, and then the difference is that the Yankees have both that pitching production and pitching. They can build pitching, and they can fix pitching, and they can move forward. And as you can see, if the Yankees are willing to, and I'll tell you this, and Dave, back in the day, you and I spoke to, or maybe I don't know if you were on there, but Lindsey Crosby.
I was there.
Lindsey Crosby told us back in the day, and he goes, Yankees are on the verge, if not there at this point, where they were like the Dodgers and they were like the Rays. Like if they're willing to give somebody up, you need to figure out why they're going to give that person up, especially on the pitching side. Because guess what, pitching they make all the right moves when it comes to giving up the pitchers.
And I'll tell you right now, if ERC comes into spring training and just kills it, I would not be surprised to see him break camp with the team in the starting rotation as their number 5.
Oh, I said before, he's probably, if he doesn't break camp, he's the first call up, because there's always going to be pitching issues. He's the first. He's the first guy that gets called up. It's an easy enough thing, because you got to remember, like the first couple of weeks, you can kind of get away with four regular pitchers. Yeah. So you don't have to call them up right then and there, but maybe by May, if there's another,
they roll with 4 starters beginning of the season because they can have
it's the off days.
14 position players and 12 pitchers, and then by like the second or third week of the season, it has to even out 13 and 13,
something like that. But either which way, there's a bunch of off days in there as well. So
yeah, a lot of
you have opening day, then a day off, then you got 3 days, then a day off, then another set, then a day off, and then they kind of get into the groove. They don't kind of throw you into everything right off the bat.
And especially go in where you open, the season on the road, and you're doing their home opener. Then when you come home and do your home opener, so and for the Yankees, since they have an outdoor ballpark, you have that day in between the opener and the following game, just in case of rain.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of early days where you don't necessarily need that 5th starter early in the season.
There's a lot of things going on. You don't know what moves the Marlins are making, because the Marlins are a sleeper team. They finished under 500 last year, but they're building something, and especially if they put, and that's one thing I really thought of putting in as a wild card as a trade. If they put Sendy on the market, then that changes everything. They put Sendy on the market. Sendy's going to be on the market, but who are they going to talk to? Because Sendy goes on the market, Dominguez is gone. You're definitely going to take another kid going. It's going to be like a Granje. They might ask for a George Lombard Jr. I mean, heck, he's a Miami boy. Why not ask for it?
I don't want to see us auction our future just for Sandy.
No, but like I said, and you don't auction everything, but you can see one or two of those guys going in a Sendy deal, and then you just build it up in the back end of like a Manny Cedeno.
Well, this has been a fun episode. Definitely let us know in the comments which one of our moves, which one of our deals, our plans you agreed with the most, you liked the most. Guys, this was a fun time of banter between the crew. Mark, definitely thank you for jumping on and joining us for this ride for this year. And definitely it's going to be some fun conversations. As you can see, guys, we're always going to be talking very, very critically about our team when needed. But we love this team and we want to see them be successful. So if any of these moves can help facilitate something for Brian Cash and the Yankees front office, we're happy to help. We will call out our credit, though, for sure. As always, make sure if you're watching this here on YouTube that you hit that subscribe button down below, as well as the bell for post notification. You can keep notified each and every single time we drop new content here. As Dave alluded to, there is going to be some very fun things, and a lot more content still coming from the Baseball Banter Broadcast this year. So for Dave and Mark, I'm Jeremy, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.